Yeah, no. I'm talking like early 2000s, late 90s,
Oh,
R&B,
that's the best.
where like they still used to grab air.
What up, guys? We're back at it again. Episode 3 in the fields. It's me, Lisa, and my lovely fiance, Jonathan. We're here. We're back at it again.
Episode 3, man. Yeah, we're here, dude. Back in the flesh. Last episode, we took a deep dive into friendships, old and new. I think this time around, we're going to explore love, but not just any kind of love. That romantic love, baby. The beautiful, the messy, the complex, but, you know, the
And
overall...
everything in between.
The overall amazing journey of love. Yeah, man. I think we should start today's episode with a new segment called Question of the Day,
Ooh.
where one of our followers actually sent us a question that they want us to answer. So I figured we could each elaborate on it. Maybe I'll read the question, you answer first, and then maybe I'll follow up.
Okay, different perspectives. I like that.
Cool.
I like that.
Okay, so question of the day. This is from our inbox on Instagram. How do you know when you've found the one, and how do you keep the initial spark alive in a long-term relationship?
I feel like, the one, that's like a hard thing to fill, right? Because we have so many different things that we learn throughout life of like what we don't like, what we do like, what we want, what we don't want. And like you said in like episode 1, it's very hard to find somebody that checks all those boxes. So I think realistically is like finding somebody that matches everything that's important to you for the most part and things that you're willing to compromise on. So like, obviously, for me, I feel like you're my one. Like, I tell you this all the time, but I feel like it's because, like, throughout our, almost 8 years of being together, like, you've consistently shown that you've wanted to grow with me and not just be here for, this reason or that reason. Like, you've consistently shown, like, commitment and effort and dedication, and you push me to be better, and you do like all these little things that matter. And I think that's when you know that you've kind of found the one that like doesn't give up when things are hard, doesn't just throw away the key when something isn't going their way, or you guys aren't getting along, because you're not always going to get along. So I think that's like important. So I think it's just like when you just know, like, you could feel it, you can see it, like, it's there and it hits. So I would say, like, for me, it's just, the energy that you bring, the love that you show, the effort that you put in, that matches your consistency with it. And when you can find that, I think that's like pretty good indication that like this could be the one. Like, you know what I mean? And then what was the other part of the question?
It was, how do you keep the spark alive in a long-term relationship?
I think the biggest thing is just continuously dating your partner. Like, I think after so long of being with somebody and you live with them, you have kids, like, you have a whole life, it's very easy to become routined. Yeah. Like, you guys wake up every day, you go to work, you come home, you clean, you cook, you take care of the kids, you get the kids to bed, you maybe have like a little hour or two to hang out, but depending on how draining your day is, you might just sit there on your phone, or you might just sit there watching TV until you guys pass out, and then you wake up and do it all again the next day. So it's very easy to like fall in that routine of like almost like roommates for the most part. Like, you're sharing a space, but you're not being intimate with each other, because life be life and sometimes, and that's cool. But like, I think when you take a step back from that and be like, yo, like, I know I live with this person, I see them every day, that's cool, but that's not us being in a relationship. So when you take that step back and you're like, you know what, like, I'm going to plan a little date, even if it's just us, finding a babysitter and going down the street for some wings, or just anything to just get out of the house and get out of our routine.
Shoot, even doing something here, but together.
Yeah, like when that day when I came home and you had like a whole picnic set up here, I was just like, what is happening? And Yeah, like it's just those little things. Like little things mean a lot. Like they are little but big. And I think that's one of the main things for me in keeping the spark alive is just showing that little bit of effort. Like, hey, like I know we're here, but like I'm here. You know what I mean? So I think that's where I would come from.
Okay, dope. And yeah, man, if I had to answer that question, let me read it one more time just to make sure that I answer this correctly because I know it's a two-parter. So how do I know when I found the one, and how do I keep that initial spark alive in a long-term relationship? So I think you found the one when you find someone who, almost like you said, continues to pour into you, right? Um, when somebody sees the best version of you but pushes you to achieve that, I think that's something that easily signifies that you have the potential to be the one, right? If you're constantly pushing me to be better, even when I don't see the best version of me and you see the best version of me, like, and you're pushing me to get there because you believe in me, I think that's a huge signifier. Like somebody who doesn't give up on you. And I mean, granted, everybody is, nobody's perfect. And I'm not saying that you should date somebody who's a project, right? Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
because there also is a give and take there, right?
There
Like
has to be reciprocation.
as much as you're pushing me to be the best, if I'm not, taking heed of your word and I'm not listening and I'm not implementing that advice, like I'm taking your love for granted, essentially. You know what I mean? And
you have to know when to differentiate between the two.
and I always say, like, when you take things for granted, the things you've been granted get taken. That's that's just what it is. You can't. Yeah, my bad. I would mic drop, but it's you know what
that was good.
Anyway, so yeah, man, I think you have to also be willing to be receptive of that. So, but when your partner's pouring into you and it's somebody who really wants the best for you and is constantly pushing you to be the best version of yourself, that's a huge signifier of, you definitely have the potential of being the one for me. You know what I mean? And as far as keeping the spark alive, man, it's just effort. Like as cliche as that sounds, it's the difference between me going to go buy some food and feed myself versus you cooking a dinner for us. It's yes, I'm eating regardless. Is my body going to be nourished? Sure, but the feeling, the effort is completely different. You know what I mean?
Cooking with that love, baby.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Something about, or, you come home and, the laundry that you want to go do is already done. You know what I mean? Like little things like that. It's the effort. Effort is how you keep the spark alive. You can't stop trying to court your spouse, you know what I mean? Or your significant other. Like, we should still be expressing our love languages, whether it's the honeymoon phase, the low times, you know what I mean? The rough times, us being engaged, even after we're married. Like, we still have to be courting each other and still trying to, reel each other in, dude. Like, hit on me, make me feel good. And then I do cute things for you, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I talk so dirty to my wife. Are you serious? Well, my fiance, I talk so dirty to her. I'd be like, yeah, baby, the dishes are already done. Oh, the living room, it's already dusted. Don't you worry about it.
You mean I don't gotta come home and do shit?
She comes home and she goes, oh, you made the bed? Yeah, baby. You like that? Yeah, I talk so. Do you see that? Look, she's getting flustered, dude. She's got fanny flutters right now, bro.
Oh man.
But yeah, so yeah, I think, like I said, it's just a matter of continuously, like you almost said, continuously dating, right? Like as long as we are together,
that's really important.
Yeah, you can't. You got to make me feel wanted.
Yeah.
Like, as much as we may need each other, right? Because we fill in the voids and fill in the balance and create that copaesthetic environment. Oops. Yeah, like, want me.
Yeah.
Make me hit on me.
I need to feel it.
Yeah, facts. Like,
I
seriously.
think that's like one of the biggest things that people end up, going out and, cheating or doing stuff like that is like, I feel like at first when that starts happening, conversations do happen like, hey, like, I don't feel like you're showing up for me anymore. Like, I don't feel like this, that, or the third. Like, I feel like people do end up having those conversations, but it's when like that drags out and nothing is really done about it and it's not really addressed. It's kind of like a sweep that under the rug type of thing, and like it'll just fall into place. But realistically, it doesn't just fall into place. Like, you really have to put in the time and effort to be like, hey, maybe you're right. Let's try to figure this out, right? Like, let's work on this. And when you guys don't have those healthy conversations with each other, you guys don't set your boundaries, you don't discuss these things that actually matter and can affect your relationship, it can lead to things like cheating or stepping out and like just not showing up, because eventually you're going to have resentment for each other because you're going to feel like nothing is being addressed and you're going to take it personally. And it's going to spiral from there. Like, bad things can occur if you're not addressing things that you feel are not happening the way that they should.
Yeah, and you can't be scared to communicate. I've said this in previous episodes. Like, communication is key, as cliche as that sounds. Like you said, it's a matter of, when you get that sense of that, either that routine feeling or that lack of spark, like, we got to say something. Let's try to bring it to life. Like, we have to resuscitate the relationship if we want it to work. We cannot let it die, right? It's an equal effort. So we have to keep the spark alive. Hey, babe, I know you've been having a rough week. Let's go do something. You know what I mean? Let's just, we're driving to Jersey. We're going out to eat tonight.
Random trips to the city.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's one thing that I know that makes you happy is food, let's go try some new shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's simple things like that, or yo, I'm going to pull up to your job with flowers. You know what I mean? Little things that it matters. You know what I mean?
It does.
And yeah, man, I think that's how we would do it. That's how we'd keep that spark alive, in long-term relationships.
Yeah, I feel like that's what we've kind of implemented, because we've definitely found ourselves in routine situations and like life be lifing, and we can't really,
dude, and then we have to hit the reset button. We just like, yo, this weekend, let's reset. Like,
just
sometimes you do get stuck in like a rut, and you have to look at each other and go, let's get each other out of this. Instead of us both being in the rut together and complaining about the rut, and then it kind of even drips over onto each other, like splashes over onto each other, like where we're kind of like nitpicking and being like, yo, that shit was annoying, and like we be like that, and instead of like being like,
I think one of the biggest things that we've learned is just the whole, like, it's not me against you, it's us versus the problem.
Facts.
And like, once we really like honed in on that and like figured that out, we've been able to just be like,
cheer, I got 99 problems, but my girl ain't one. Hit me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's basically what it is.
Yeah, and I feel like since we've really like narrowed that down and like honed in on that, when we do find ourselves in those situations, we can kind of stop each other and be like, wait a minute, we're doing that. It's me versus you, and it's not. Like, let's just take a step back real quick and just let's focus on the issue real quick and just see where we can go from there.
Facts.
So, yeah, that's dope. I like that.
Man. Well, shout out to the follower who submitted question of the day. Guys, make sure you guys hit the inboxes, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X. If you have a question that you want us to answer, the inboxes are open. We will try to get to everybody's questions because, we're dropping an episode a week right now. So bear with us. We will get to everybody as soon as we can. Before we continue the episode, though, we should give them a word from our sponsors.
Yes. OuLa-Lade, you already know, the official drink of In the Fields podcast.
Yeah, guys, the official sponsor of In the Fields podcast, OuLa-Lade. We've got a new flavor today, which is white peach, brought to us by none other than La Shells. Let's take it. How's it? Oh, come on, let me try.
It's so good. It's literally the most refreshing thing ever.
Oh my God, bro, this slaps like Will Smith. Oh my goodness. Yeah, bro. OuLa-Lade, all natural ingredients, guys, made with love. We say this time and time again. It is the best lemonade, not only in the 610, but probably in the entire world. Actually, I'm almost certain the entire world. If you're drinking any other lemonade, it's most likely dog water. But that's just my opinion. I'm just going to leave it at that.
The little fresh fruit bits.
Yeah, of course. Oh, my God.
Mint, all of it.
Natural ingredients, made with love. OuLa-Lade. Once again, thank you guys for sponsoring our podcast. You guys are the official and the only sponsor drink of In the Fields podcast. Now, back to our episode. All right, guys, and we are back, man. Yeah, episode 3. This one, we are taking the deep dive into love. Not just any kind of love, like I said, guys, that romantic love. And I am the Pablo Escobar of emotion, giving you that raw, uncut, how you like it. Anyway, yeah, man, our love story. I mean,
It's been a crazy ride.
It's been a journey, as any love story is, right? Because the greatest love is built, like I've said, guys, and yeah, man, we've had our ups and downs. We've had, thick and thins. And I mean, that's part of the reason I even want to marry you, is because of the fact that we've already, I feel like, been through the fire. You know what I'm saying? We've been through the ups and downs. And that kind of, to me, how we handled it and how we overcame it and how strong it's made our bond today is part of the reason I even proposed to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's been amazing, man. I mean, overall, I can't complain, especially when I see, like, dude, sometimes I see other people's shit and the shit that they got going on, and I look at you and I go, I'm so grateful that I have you, because, dude, some of the things that, like, you just see scrolling through Facebook is...
Oh, it could be pretty toxic out there.
It's nuts. So, yeah, man, I mean, we've been together for almost 8 years, right? We're going to get married. It's crazy because we've been together almost 8 years. We're going to get married on 8/8.
We've been engaged for 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get married on 8/8.
Yep. 8/8 because it's like 2 infinity logos. That's why 8.
To infinity and beyond.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, I had to.
Whew. Yeah, man. It's so dope how we've made it this far, and...
Yeah, because I will say that we've definitely been through some pretty challenging things that, like, most people would fold through. And I think what kept...
I think people have folded for less.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think what really kept us going, though, is the potential that we really saw in each other. And, like, despite what we went through, we were very open to the fact of, like, hey, like, I truly feel like I know this person, and, like, I see where they come from. Like, I know their traumas. I know their attachment styles. I know their, love language. And these are all things that, like, I feel like I can maneuver through. And I see potential for this person to grow and overcome those things. You know what I mean? Like, and despite what we've been through, we've kind of just stuck it out. And now, like, we can sit here today and look back and be like, yo, we really made it through some really tough times. And because of that, it built up our resilience. It built up all these things that, like, now we can just be happily just in it. Now we are able to navigate difficult situations a lot more easy. Like, we are able to flow through things without so much negativity and, like, all that. Like, we keep it positive and we continue to push each other, but in a better way. You know what I mean? Like, we're not so quick to snap or argue about it. Instead, now we, like, okay, well, we're just gonna sit and talk it out. Like, what's the worst that could happen? We're gonna either figure it out or we have to figure it out. That's, like, the only way to do it.
Yeah, and I think that's just through the trial and error of our relationship too. Like, we had to go through those times where we weren't able to communicate effectively.
Yeah.
And we had to learn firsthand, like, yeah, I don't like that shit, bro. That shit don't work for me. You know what I mean? As much as maybe the examples we had of love, like, prior to us being together, have been those types of aggressive communication, yelling, fighting, never really seeing the resolution. And I think that's my biggest issue too, is, like, I've never seen conflict resolved peacefully. It's usually just, they just dead it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We wake up the next day, we got shit to do.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big one too.
That was the hardest thing for me to learn, because my whole life growing up, it was just filled with anger. And
yeah, like, what is conflict resolution? I didn't really learn how to effectively do that until I got with you. You know what I mean? How to...
I think that's because of the fact that we both came from similar, areas of, like, it just being filled with anger and fighting and negativity. And I think we both just craved a different a different lighting, a
Yeah, there
different
just has to be more
aspect.
to this, right? It has to be more than just arguing, bickering until one of us admits defeat. Like it shouldn't
Yeah.
be about, once again, it's not me versus you. It's us
Hmm.
versus the problem, right?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I think us figuring out how to effectively communicate was huge, and it just helped us with getting through those storms
Yeah.
much easier as time progressed. We became better at it because it's a skill, you know what I mean? And with any skill, you need to practice. Like
Hmm.
people say practice makes perfect. I don't really like that phrasing. I on purpose use practice makes better
Yeah.
because
There is no
you're not going to
perfect.
perfect it, but as long as you keep in the gym and you shooting, eventually you going to get better. You know what I'm saying? Steph Curry just made 4,000 three-pointers in the NBA, bro.
Hmm.
But you know how many he's missed? He just made 4,000, and if he's shooting 50%, that means out of 8,000 he made half. You know what I'm saying? Or even if he's
Yeah.
shooting 40%, he shot 10,000 shots to make 4,000. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to keep shooting your shot. You have to keep practicing. It's a skill. You have to keep trying. And that kind of brings me to a question that I wanted to ask you because like I said, over time we got better at it.
Hmm.
And I was going to ask like how do you think the love, and not just with our relationship, but how do you think love evolves over time as people stay together? Because I know a lot of people have the expectation of like, or like they miss the honeymoon phase, or you know what I mean? A lot of people I feel like hyper focus on that phase of the
Hmm.
relationship. So like, how do you think it evolves over time, as the relationship progresses?
Well, it's like I said in the first episode, right? Like as individuals, we grow as people. So naturally we change who we are over time, and it could either be good for the good or for the bad, but like while you're with that person, you're seeing their evolution, and that's where you're choosing like, hey, this person still, despite what they're changing, you could either see, well, they're not changing for the good, and no matter how much I keep trying to speak on it, it's not changing, so I'm going to be out. But then if they're changing in ways that are positive and stuff, you could either be encouraging and be like, "Yo, I like that. Let me grow with you. Like I also want to become better too." So it's like you're pushing them and motivating your partner to be better. So I think those are one of the two things to point out and realize, but it's also like over time, cuz when you guys start off and you're in that honeymoon phase, everything is just, it's
Rainbows and
amazing,
unicorns. You
and
guys
it
can't stop
just
touching each
hits.
other. Yeah, yeah, I know.
But you got to realize like that can't be life 24/7 every day, because as you get into it, like we move in together, we have kids together, we're, building things together. Like now we have responsibilities, and now
Hmm.
there's like all this other stuff that like ties into it, and it can't just be fun anymore. It can't be 24 hours fun. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
learning that like despite how great that is and how much you wish it could last, it's not going to. But you've taught me that even throughout time, you show up in different ways. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
there were things that I missed from the beginning of our relationship, but you're like, you kept pointing out to me when I would bring that to you and be like, yeah, but baby, like, this is what I'm doing now. Like, do you
Hmm.
see, like
Yeah, the
there's a
responsibility has
shift.
changed.
There's a
Yeah.
shift in like what I'm bringing to the table, but
Yeah.
I'm still bringing something to
Yeah,
the table.
exactly. Yeah. Well, cuz the
And
responsibility changes as the relationship progresses,
yeah,
right? Like you said, like things change in our life. Like we're taking on different aspects of life. So in the midst of all of those things, like, you know what I mean? You start kind of changing or shifting to fill in different gaps and things like that. So,
yeah. So I think like that's really huge, is just like learning that over time, like it's gonna seem different, but it's not to be so picky on what you're getting. Like if you're still getting some type of effort and you see potential and like you see all these positive like traits and aspects, like you keep going. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Like you can't just fall back because you're not getting little love notes every day, or you're not getting this, that, or the third. You might be getting something different. You might be getting something bigger or something that takes more effort. Like you got to really like hone in on those things and
Yeah.
see what you're getting, and you have to decipher whether or not it's what you want, what you can handle, or something that you're just like, this ain't gonna be for me.
Yeah, and a lot of people hyper focus on what they're missing a lot of the time too.
Oh yeah.
And I think that distracts us, or it kind of puts like the peaky blinders on to what it is we're actually receiving. You know what I mean? Like if you hyper focus on what you're missing, then that's all you'll ever care about. Your mood will be completely ruined if you're just like, but I'm not getting this. And it's like, yeah, but what about this? You know what I mean? Yeah, but I'm missing like this. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people hyper focus on that, and I think it takes them out of the path of gratitude. You know what I mean? It prevents you from being grateful and, you know, being just happy with the things that you have if you hyper focus on what you're missing.
Yeah, and I feel like if you ever feel like you find yourself in that place, you could do something as simple as writing a pros and cons list. Like really sit with yourself and decipher, like, you know, what you think or feel that you're missing versus what you actually have been getting, and really look at it on paper and just be like, oh, wait, you know, like maybe I am just really in my feelings. Maybe I really am in my emotions and it's clouding my judgment right now. And I really need to take a step back and just reassess the situation.
And we get it, man. Some people get in the feels. Sorry. No, but yeah, sometimes being, you know, caught up in your own feelings and in your own emotions definitely they cloud your judgment, you know what I mean? And they fuel or like validate sometimes your skewed perspective. Like when you're looking at something and it's emotionally like your thought process is emotionally driven, like whatever you want it to be, it will be.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're like, nah, it is that, because that's that, you know what I mean? Like when you're upset and you're like, nah, I know exactly what you were thinking, or you start, you know what I mean? You kind of start,
and your brain
you
is
start
so
becoming
powerful.
the author of the story. You start creating it and narrating it however you want it. So yeah, I think that's huge. You
and
know
your
what I mean?
brain is so powerful. So the more you tell yourself something, the more it becomes real for you. Because
Bro, I just saw on the Theo Von podcast, he had a lady on his podcast that said the brain cannot differentiate between something that really happened and something that you just vividly imagined. The brain cannot tell the difference. And then Theo Von responded with, so basically, like if I just think really, really hard about where I want to be and I'm vividly imagining like the person that I want to become, eventually like my brain will just start thinking like I am that person, and eventually like the universe will just like present that to me. And then she's like, yeah, that's pretty much like that's the theory of like manifestation. Like that's how that works.
I was just about to say that's why manifestations are so real, and that's why people do vision boards and all these things, because the more you keep presenting the ideas of what you want out of life, eventually they will become real in real time for your life.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact, dude. So yeah, man, that's dope, dude. I love this, man. I love doing this podcast with you, by the way.
It's fun.
Hell yeah.
It's a learning experience.
Yeah, of course. And it's only gonna get better as we keep going. You know what I mean? And I think as we keep, you know, just exploring the fields, we become more knowledgeable, and I think people can, you know, I think people can see obviously that our connection is strong too. You know what I mean? The love is definitely in the air whenever we're together. I think people see it so much that they're like, ill. Because we've definitely had moments like that with our friend groups where we're like all lovey-dovey, and people are like, get a room, you guys. You know what I mean? But I can't help it. You know
but
what
that's just how our relationship has always been. Like we have always been very, despite anything that's ever happened, at the end of the day, we're always very much like, I love you.
Yeah, and I think that's important. Like even through the ups and downs, like I think even the downs have probably made our relationship stronger than the ups.
Well, yeah, because
like I think the downs, like those struggle moments, yeah, those have really like fortified our relationship for sure.
Yeah, when you can make it through certain things, and it's like it's one thing for you to stay with somebody and you stay with them, you do the forgiveness thing, you reconcile, you do this, you do that. But nothing changes. Like you stay, and it's a continuous pattern of like, you know, because I've been in relationships where it went so bad, we break up, they do the I'm sorry thing, you feel bad because you see the potential, so you stay, and they're good for like a short amount of time until you're there. And then the second that they feel like they got you, it goes right back into old habits. And then you find yourself in this continuous pattern of like, why is nothing actually changing? Like, that's one thing for you to like realize, like, okay, like this, I gotta step away. But when you're with somebody and you do the whole forgiveness thing and you actually physically see change and you see the effort of that person, like really trying to be better, that's when you kind of know, like, okay, this person is actually worth me giving this shot to. And over time, it should just continuously get better to a point where, like we're at, where it just, things just flow so naturally now. Like, we've created a space where we can give our boundaries. We understand them. We respect them. We talk about them. When we feel like they might be getting crossed a little bit, we're able to navigate that in a healthy manner, whereas we weren't always able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that's highly important that we can see that change over time.
Yeah, and that brings me back to like what I said in the other episode where I was like, a lot of it was me shifting my why too, you know what I mean?
That was
Versus
good.
some people, like you had just mentioned, like it seemed like only the effort kicks in when you're like on
When
your
you're
at
about
your
to
breaking
lose that
point. Yeah,
point,
at your
like,
breaking
yeah.
point. Then they're like, no, please, 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 please. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, okay, that feels good. That's what I wanted. And then you come back, right? And then they stop doing it. And then you're like, yo, I'm done. I'm about, and it, no, please, 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 please. You know what I mean? It's just like, and that's a vicious cycle, bro.
Yeah, especially when you feel love for that person. When you do feel like you love them, it's really hard to get away from that. Like, it is really hard to just be like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because I've stayed in relationships for years dealing with stuff like that. And like, I always thought that it was just normal. Like, for the longest time, I was just like, like, this just has to be a normal thing, because I was in 3 committed relationships before you and they were all kind of similar. And it's like, it just sets up a standard of like, oh, this is just how it is. Like, no matter what I do, like, I'm just going to always find myself in these situations. But like, you changed that for me, because we had moments like that. However, you did change over time and you showed me that it can be different as long as you put in the work.
Yeah. And I think also just having a partner that wants you to be better. Like that was the big thing for us, is us wanting to be, us pushing each other to be how we saw each other, right?
Yeah.
Like I've always said, like, I wish you could see yourself through my eyes. And, we just push each other to be that, the best versions we can be for each other, right?
Hold each other accountable.
That's big, man.
Keep
So
each other like to our word. Like, if you say you're gonna do something,
do it.
Like, for yourself. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to necessarily have anything to do with us. But you're just talking in general. Like, I feel like I want to do this for myself, or I want to do that for myself. And you talk about it, and I see and hear it, but then I don't see you putting any effort towards it. I should be the one to be like, hey, baby, like, you've been talking about this. Like, just do it.
Do it.
Like,
Yep.
how can I help? How, what do you need? Is there anything I can do? Like, you should just do it. And I think that's something that's really helped us grow as people too, is just like holding each other accountable and pushing each other to be our best selves. Because it's hard to do that for yourself. Like, it is hard to push yourself to be better sometimes. But when you have somebody that loves you doing it and like showing you and pushing you, it's kind of like validating, like, yo, I can be better. Like, I know I can feel it and see it, but like this man that I love also feels it and sees that I could be better. So I need to just keep pushing.
Hell yeah. I love that, man. I love that about us, and I love how hard we've worked to get to where we are now.
Yeah, man.
So I think we should get into our question time. What do you think?
I'm down.
Yeah, man. Let's
got
break it out.
questions.
Go ahead, hit me with one. What do you got in the chamber for me?
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right. I had this question only because I felt like it related to you a lot.
Go.
If our love story was a song, what genre would it be and why?
R&B. Hands down. And not the bullshit R&B that's out now, cuz that got like overtaken by hip hop, and now every singer's a rapper. And no, I'm talking like early 2000s, late 90s R&B,
the best.
where like they still used to grab air. You know what I mean? They do the rain and then they spread it out and the grab. Yeah, that R&B, because
some
like,
Avant and
some
Genuine.
Boys to Men, like some fire, like some like what I would say anybody our age would consider baby making music.
Wow.
That term, that kind of R&B. Easy, hands down.
Marvin
Easy
Gaye.
answer. Yeah. What? You know what I mean? So yeah, R&B definitely would be hands down, and it's got to be that era of R&B though, for sure.
I feel like it would be a mix between that and a little house music.
I mean, yeah, it depends on the type of night you catch us on because sometimes we want to beat the beat up.
Sometimes we just be vibey.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, hell yeah. So yeah, no, definitely, I like that question. That was good because I love me some music, man.
Oh, I know.
All
That's
right,
why you're Billsy.
All right, I got one. All right,
Okay.
my first question would be, what does love mean to you in your own words?
It's so hard to like put a definition behind it because
Not an exact. It's just what do you think it
means?
means?
I get that, but I'm just saying like it's so hard to define love because I feel like for me it's a bunch of things but the biggest is like the little things. It's the attention to detail. It's the small gestures. It's the showing up, the effort, the consistency, the communication. Like I feel like all these things validate your true love because one thing that I've realized in being with you is that like with my exes, like as much as I was told that I was loved, I didn't feel loved, right? Like I was missing a bunch of those things and I stayed just because I was hearing the words.
Yeah.
But I wasn't seeing the action. I wasn't feeling the action.
Yeah, like almost like Jedi mind trick.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you love me? So then I guess this is love.
Yeah. And it's like, but it also stems from like growing up, I didn't really see it either. So it's like, I never really knew what love was supposed to actually look or feel like. So I had to create my own standard of what I thought was love. And I did that in being with you because, like I've said, like you've just shown me so much that I've never had, I've never experienced. And each time it's so surprising to me that I'm like, oh, so this is what it should feel like. This is what it actually is. Like, where has this been my whole life? You know what I mean? So like for me, it's deep. It's a deep feeling. It's a deep meaning. And there's a lot of pieces that play a part in it.
Yeah.
So that's how I would describe love for me.
I like that.
Thanks.
That hits, man. That hits, man.
Right in the feels.
Right in the feels. All right, what you got for me?
All right. So what's one piece of advice that you would give to other couples about navigating love in the time of life?
The biggest piece of advice I would give any couple is to not be so quick to give up when things get hard, because how you handle and navigate those difficult moments are truly a testament to the strength of your relationship. You can't really judge a relationship based on how good the shit is. I think that's a misleading way to judge a relationship, because at any moment we could turn the cute shit on.
Yeah.
But it's hard to turn the bad shit off.
Yeah.
Like when shit hits the fan, shit hits the fan. How do we get through that?
And you can't avoid it.
How do you deal with me when I'm pissed the fuck off and I'm snapping? How do you do like if y'all ever watched Avengers, when Black Widow, she just has to touch the Hulk and she's like, hey, it's time to bring the sun down, dude. And then he turns into Bruce Banner. How do you do that? You know what I'm saying? That's, to me, the true testament of the strength of a relationship. And that would be my advice to any couple is, hey, when shit gets hard and shit hits the fan, that's when you need to try the hardest. Not run away from it, not ignore it, not try to steer clear of it. That's when you got to try and lock in. And that's what's really going to determine if the relationship has that.
Yeah, is that person worth it?
Yeah, that's going to determine if the relationship really has that everlasting characteristic is how do we navigate the storms, right? Because you're not just going to bitch out on me and take the fucking, when the storm's coming, you're not going to take the the safety boat or the lifeboat and dip on me and go the opposite direction while I'm running through the storm by myself. You can't do that. Because then I'm fucking up Shit's Creek without a paddle. So, yeah, man. That's what I would say to any couple. That's the advice I would give them.
Yeah, I like that. Especially because I feel like a lot of the time, one of the most common phrases couples use is, it's me and you against the world. But when the world comes crashing down, a lot of the time, people are like, well, sorry, you're on your own.
Yeah, people dip when it gets hard. And that brings me back to what I said in previous episodes. Like, back in the day, people only needed one reason to stay. And now it's like people just need one red flag to leave.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, that's nuts. So, yeah, that'd be the advice I'd give any couple for sure.
I like that. All right, and then it's last questions, right?
Yes, sir. I got one for you. Ready? Mm-hmm. What's the funniest or most awkward romantic moment we've shared?
Oh, boy.
It's funny because I have one in mind already, and I'll share after you, but go ahead.
I don't even know off the top of my head. Funniest or awkward moment? I really don't know. Say yours.
Okay. So to me, the funniest, or actually, it's like funny, awkward, most romantic moment was when I ordered that picture of us, the animated picture, and I was so excited to get it. So I submitted a picture of us to this this thing that was supposed to make us look like, it was supposed to take our picture and then make us look like Disney characters, but it was supposed to be like cute. Like it was supposed to be like, oh babe, look, I got this cute little, like, it's wooden, it's carved out, and it's fucking, bro, it showed up. This was AI generated, and let me tell you, this, AI, definitely artificial, no intelligence. I swear, because this thing came out, bro, it made me, first of all, it gave me the eyebrows like Jim's dad from American Pie. Then it added like some skull onto my shirt. Didn't have the skull. My eyes were like, I had like no forehead. It was insane.
I loved it. And
your character came out a little cockeyed. You would just thought it was cute how excited I was to give it to you. And then bro.
You were so mad.
When I say I got emotionally blue-balled when I opened this present, literally, it was like, I almost didn't want to give it to her. She was like, no, it's okay, baby. It's the thought that counts. And I was so pissed. I even messaged them. And then I started looking through all the comments on all their posts. And that's when I knew I made a mistake. Because everybody was like, bro, they're trash. Oh, my God. It was horrible.
It sits on my dresser, and I see it every day, and I love it very much.
Yeah, so that to me, that was mine. That popped into my head immediately when I thought of that question.
I really can't think of
it's
one off the
between that or
top.
our first date. It
would have to be the first date for me.
Yeah, sending me to the wrong PJs.
Okay, to be fair, I'm not familiar with the Allentown area at all.
No, you an Estonian.
I'm an Estonian, and I stayed there for the most part, a couple times in Bethlehem, but I didn't really come out to Allentown or Whitehall. And my friend and her girl at the time invited me to do a double date. We weren't even dating yet. We were just talking. And he's like, all right, yeah, I'll come. And I thought I sent him to the correct PJs, not knowing there was one like over, where is that, Macungie?
It's like Trexlertown area, or like maybe Allentown. I think it's actually Allentown, but West End Allentown, like on Tillman Street.
And then we went to the one that was in Bethlehem. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea. And he's like,
but you sent me the screenshot of the one. That's the thing. She was like, yeah, I'm at PJ's. Screenshot sends me the one in Trexlertown. And I'm thinking, oh, snap. Mind you, I lived with my mom at this point, and my mom lives in Macungie, so this shit's like 7-10 minutes away from me. And I'm like, oh, it's lit. You right there, baby. You drove out your way to come see the boy. Nah, she just sent the boy. Bro, I walked into PJ's. I'm pacing through the entire place, front balcony to the back, and I can't find her. And she's like, I'm right here. And I'm like... And then I accidentally yelled at your friend. Oh my God, that's when I get, dude. Yeah, I get that from my pops. That short fuse. Yo, I accidentally yelled at her friend,
which is crazy
on the phone. That was nuts.
Which is crazy because technically that would have been considered red flag number 1.
Oh my God,
this man got no patience. He got a short fuse.
Dude, if we're talking about red flags, this girl doesn't know her location. She don't even know where she's at. She can't tell north from south. You're like,
Yo, but then we had
East?
such a good
I
night.
thought you said West.
I'm dead. We had
No, I'm
such a
just
good
kidding.
date that I'm pretty sure that was the first time you met Maya too.
Yep. Shout out to my daughter, my favorite, my other favorite woman, lady. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, that was dope, dude. So
Sorry, you stumped me on that one. I couldn't really think of one off the top like that.
I feel you. What's up? You got one more question for me?
But you have one more too, right? Or that was your last one?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is your last one, and then we'll bring him home with our question to the fans.
Okay.
And then we'll tell them what we're doing next, and we'll bring him home, man.
All right. So you're really good at these.
Oh.
So
Shit.
if you could describe our love using a metaphor or an analogy, what would it be and why?
If I could describe our love using an analogy or a metaphor, what would it be? That's tough. I would say that our love is very much like our love is very much like the weather in a sense because of how beautiful it can be when you take time to really just, you have great days, beautiful days, but then you also have the bad days, right? But you have to survive that no matter what. Like you wake up, just because it's raining doesn't mean you don't go to work. And on a beautiful day, maybe you wake up and you're like, wow, this feels so much better. And it hits you a little different. So I would say like our love is a lot like the weather because no matter what, rain, sunshine,
Snow.
we still show up, we still put in the work, and we still put in the effort regardless of the storms that we have to weather, whether they're individual storms such as your work or things that, I have to do as well. You know what I mean?
I like that.
So, yeah, man. I would say that's how I would do it.
I like that.
All right, man, let's bring him home. All right, guys, so you know how we finish every episode. We like to leave you guys with a question, and we want to ask you guys, what are your thoughts on love? What are some things that you've learned about love in your own relationship? Drop it in the comments, or if you see this on your socials, because once again, you never know when the why in your story is silent, and it becomes our story. We want to keep continuing building this community, guys, where we spread nothing but positive energy, good vibes, and yeah, man, until next episode, which is parenting and the feel fest that is involved with that.
Funsies.
And yeah, man, until then, guys, keep feeling,
keep sharing,
and keep it real within the feels. Fow, 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 fow.